Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Uriel 5 Radio, September 10th. This is we have to come up with a name for this show. Well, I guess I already have a name. It would be an interview with Moss 85. Does that sound right?
Sounds great.
Okay. Well, we're here with Moss 85, segment 4. We're continuing our talk about Pipe Down, the album, the legend. And I think when we left off,
the myth,
we were about to go to Michigan to do some recording. I don't know if that's really where we left off, but that's what's left on my notes here. So we went to Michigan because that's where Ridala Audio happens to be, and we have connections up there. Have any of you ever been, or had you been to Ridala Audio in the past before that day? Or that trip?
Nope.
Nope, not Brian. So I've been there a few times. There's a history behind that building.
Wait.
His house?
Yeah, his house. There's a certain friend of mine named Chuck, owner and operator of Ridala Audio, and apparently the house has been in the family since 1896 or something, so he and his father moved up there when Chuck started going to Michigan Tech, and Chuck they had the addition put on to make the house about twice as big as it originally was, and Chuck built his studio up in there, and last I heard that's what Chuck does, but I don't know. But he's got his stuff going on there, and Pipe Down, or Moss 85 went up there to record some things with Chuck's professional equipment. His what do you call that board with the automated that goes with the Pro Tools? The Pro 24 or something like that. He had the board that everyone has, and Pro Tools and all that stuff, and he had some good stuff, and he went to school for recording. So Moss 85 was going to take full advantage of this and record some stuff. Was that intended to go on Pipe Down, or were these Pipe Down songs, or were these for the next album?
For the next
Showdown.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later then. So for Pipe, was that after the Double R Party?
Double R Party was May 15th, 2004. This Michigan was August something, 2004, late August?
Yeah, early August. My birthday, I remember.
Well, we could talk probably about this record release party. This was for, well, let's back up just a little bit and talk about, we were talking about the recording of Pipe Down and all that kind of stuff. Now, Moss 85, the three of us, I think of the three of us, see, when I first wanted to do this show, I thought, Brian, Nikki, and me, me, Brian, and Nikki, that's Moss 85 to me, but, I have a limited perspective. But that was the golden years. Now, did the three of us have a good relationship outside of the band while recording? How did that go? We already talked about how I just sort of stayed out of it whenever there were feuds. And there were feuds of many. Please explain. What did you guys have issues with each other about? I mean, you seem okay now.
Give us time. I don't know.
This is one of those moments.
Well, Nikki, you were a much younger person. Kind of like Brian Rafferty. Actually, I think I don't know. Brian Rafferty talked about how he wanted to do his kind of music. And that was kind of my thing way back then. I want to do what I want to do. And I felt like I was in Moss 85 too. Because it was fun, and I was in it because, I wanted to help you. But I never really took full, put all, I don't know, put my identity into the songs, really. But I think maybe both of you maybe did that a little bit more. Maybe mostly Brian. But I think you really wanted it to be what you wanted it to be.
We both had visions, I think.
You both had visions.
I think...
And conflict arose.
I don't remember now any specific vision differences or anything like that.
I think it was just it's hard to explain. It's just one of those things where all of my issues stemmed from another much larger issue, and it all just kind of rolled downhill from there. Or I should say, what is it, downhill for worse or uphill? You'd think because it's uphill, it would be harder to go uphill, so it'd be worse, but I don't know.
Snowballed.
It snowballed. It definitely snowballed. So there was an issue that went from there down to the recording all the way throughout, and that was the demise of this.
Well, Brian always wanted you to try it this way. He would have an idea, a vocal idea, and you would say something like, "No, that's not how I, that's
Once
not how I sing
again,
it."
a much larger issue that would cause me to act that way. So I think I had a lot to work on, and looking back, I mean, if I were to say, like, I regretted stuff, I definitely do. Every day of my life, I sit there and I regret things about this album. Things that I wish I could have done that I didn't trust in myself to do at the time. Like, I think that our biggest problem was that Brian was kind of ahead of his time by doing the weirder, doing the weirder kind of cool, more abstract-y type of sounds, and I was just so limited to the way I saw music. And I think that I wanted it to be a certain way because that's how I've always had it, and that's how I've always thought it should be, versus somebody who wanted to think outside the box. So looking back, if I would have taken the more mature approach, who knows what we could have done. It could have been amazing, but, what are you going to do?
So what was your songwriting process?
It started out with me and you working together, and then it branched off into Brian would think of something and present it to me, and then I would write music to that. So, kind of like a cheating aspect if you look at it.
Also, early on, you had melody. I guess that's kind of the working together thing. You would have a melody and present it to me. I'll put chords to it, and then there was Wake Up, where you already had a melody and I already had an instrumental, and they somehow went together.
Yeah, it was very strange. But I know, like, Bixim, which was almost everybody's favorite on the album for some, I don't know. Everybody liked Bixim. Yeah, a lot of people like Bixim, and that was one that we wrote together. Like, yeah. So, that was a good one. That was the process, I guess.
Yeah. And then our three roles, I guess we've already talked about the three roles in the band, but Brian was kind of the visionary, the person who started Moss 85, and he would sit in dark studios making...
alone.
Either alone, doing everything he could alone, and when he needed a voice,
yeah,
he would try to instruct you as he could.
And there's something I couldn't do.
Me being the older brother, I don't think he really tried to instruct me too much. Maybe he should have. I don't know.
I think you drummed just fine.
Okay. I had a limited part. And Brian and I would...
You know a lot more about recording than I did.
In the studio, Brian and I would team up and try to come up with clever ideas. Nikki...
I remember the compliment me little breakdown thing. That was one of the...
Yeah.
Our finest moments.
And,
Actually, I think one of the finest moments that I thought was actually pretty entertaining was you guys banging on walls in Michigan.
Well, now we're jumping ahead.
I know, but I just think that was
I
funny.
made that mistake earlier.
Okay, sorry.
But, yeah, Brian and I spent so much time... I learned some things about recording specifically from that album. Brian and I spent so much time on the details in the studio. For a while, it felt like, we hired Nikki to do vocals. She would come in. Nikki, can we have you on Friday at 7 p.m.? I'll be there. I'll try to knock out a song.
Is that what I sound like?
It was so brief. And you didn't do backup vocals or a whole lot of harmonies or anything like that. Some, but your parts were pretty basic. And I remember when we were starting to finish the album, we were listening to track 1, track 2, track 3. I went, this is just a whole bunch of Nikki singing. Brian and I spent tons and tons of time in here, and it's like, Nikki's singing these lyrics, next track, Nikki's singing these lyrics, and there might be 10 seconds at the beginning of just hearing us, but Nikki was the focal point. It's interesting how that happens.
And he's resented you ever since.
We did the work that makes you look good.
Is that really how you feel?
I don't know. If I said yes, that's not an insult in any way.
No. But I mean,
no.
It's kind of the way it was, but it's not.
No, I agree.
Not the way it sounds.
I think my biggest fault was I I had to put all things aside. You know, that was something that I didn't do, and I should have. Like, I should have put all the negative feelings that I was feeling towards people, things. I should have not done that, and I should have put myself into it. Because when we first started, I wanted to put myself into everything and be there, but towards the end, the animosity just got to me. It just really made things very difficult.
I don't really know. Do we need to get into all this teenage animosity that
No.
you had? Or is this about us
I don't
or
even-
just general life stuff? Or is it a combination?
Can we move on? It was not, I don't know.
Well, that sounds
Yeah.
difficult if you
Yes.
got stuff, personally going on.
I don't want to,
I can't ask
call
you to...
people out and, start a debate on something completely different. So,
I can't ask, if things were difficult, that's too bad. And it's hard to have a musical career, as a
think-
completely separate thing that doesn't involve, personal stuff going on. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I should have been there, and I really regret it. Like I said, every day I think about it, like, I really wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have, and you can only wish so much. You can't go back and change the album, but I wish I would have been there more often for you guys, so.
Yeah. But we did seem to hang out as friends every once in a while. We seem to get along. That's one of the things that I really remember about the three of us. Now, maybe that was a little more Brian and I teaming up against you and giving you a hard time about anything we could, but that was always entertaining. So when
That's
the three
really
of
what
us,
it was,
when
yeah.
the three of us got together, did you dread it because we were horrible to you?
I wouldn't say I dreaded it. I enjoyed my moments with you, but I played off of this. I don't know. You guys had an idea of who I was, and I would play off of it just to be funny and to kind of fit in and stuff.
Play into it?
Yeah.
Like,
You
exaggerate
take on
it?
that role?
Yeah.
Take on the role?
Yeah. I would do that often because you guys were like my brothers type of thing, So I don't know. I just went along with everything.
That's funny. Well, it just escalated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You brought this on yourself.
No, and looking back, come on. I was 15, 16.
When you're a married adult, it's like, I've got a job, I've got responsibilities, I've got a husband, I've got things to do. When you're 15, it's sort of, you don't know what you are, and if people are enjoying, even if it's kind of teasing you, it's like, well, I'll be whatever people enjoy.
Well, that's
even
the
if
thing.
it's at my expense.
I was 16. I didn't know.
And, yeah.
Brian.
Yeah.
So what memories do you have of things that we did
Pipe down era?
as friends in the Pipe Down era?
Moss 85 movie night.
Do we have those regularly or once?
No, quite often.
Oh, now I can remember
I
two.
hardly remember any.
I can remember two. We watched Office Space once, didn't we?
Yes, we watched Office Space. We watched some weird Denzel Washington movie once about some guy with a bomb or something. I don't know. And then,
The Negotiator
And then-
Yeah.
with
L.
Samuel L. Jackson.
oh, okay, Denzel
Samuel
Washington.
L. Jackson.
And then I remember Brian made us watch Sybil.
Jackson. Yeah. Oh, wow. Love Sybil.
And we're like, and me and Eric are just like, this is very
We just
awkward.
watched it in psychology class, and it was great.
In psychology class, any movie would be really entertaining. You get together with your friends in a band, and I didn't realize how lame this was. I'm very
I just
embarrassed for
remember
suggesting it.
the ending of it just left all of us like we're just sitting on that couch and Eric's like, well, all right, and then switched the movie.
All right, then. That was Sybil.
Okay. The one that I remember was About Schmidt.
Oh,
That was the only one that I remembered at first.
we also watched that Leonardo DiCaprio one, the
Catch
Catch Me If You Can.
We did? Oh, that's a good.
Yeah.
That's almost one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Possibly in my top 10. Speaking of Jack Nicholson, Leonardo DiCaprio, I watched The Departed last night.
And?
For the third or fourth time.
Oh.
It's one of my favorite movies, even though it's really just nasty and horrible. I mean, the whole secret, they're both rats for the cops and the mob. Very, very well done.
I watched AMC's Mob Week a couple of weeks back. Lots of good stuff in there.
Mob Week. Maybe
Godfathers and all those kind of things.
And the main thing that I remember about us is going to Guitar Center and Scam Cash.
Yeah.
All the time. That's what we did.
It was like on a daily basis almost.
Well, I always like going to those stores and looking at equipment and gear.
I just remember driving around in your car and like listening to
Paseo?
music. Yeah, the Paseo. And listening to music and like just hanging out.
I remember
drives.
listening to Since You've Been Gone. It came on the radio. This is awesome.
I just remember feeling like
Best
a
pop song ever still.
Oh yeah?
I still think.
Even
number
though her
one.
the next single that she had off that album that just came out sounds exactly like it.
I don't know
Even
what
if-
song you're referring to, but I'm sure it was nothing like it.
Really? Can I prove you wrong?
Well, I'm sure they're formulaically exactly the
Oh
same.
no, it's the exact same song.
Something else
But nothing
sounding
can match the magic.
Something else sounding just like it doesn't make the first one worse.
That's true.
I don't know
That
what
is
your point
true.
is.
But I just it kills me. Anyway,
You know another thing that we used to do, which was kind of elaborate and took a lot of setup, but I want to... we did it at least on 2 completely separate occasions, was you take Space Ghost, you record a whole bunch of clips of Space Ghost saying things, you lay them out on a keyboard, and you play them with prank calls. Kind of like the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing, but we did Space Ghost.
We did Miss
And-
Cleo too, right?
yeah, Miss
Oh, and Miss
Cleo
Cleo.
and Space Ghost, yes.
The best time was the first time, which was in Brian's bedroom. Wasn't it? How could it have
Possibly.
not been? That's one of my clear memories. And
I
then
remember. I remember clear in your apartment.
Yeah, me too.
we did it.
With when we called Pat and we
It was
used
me,
the
my ring, I'm sorry.
and all those.
Well, that was more recent. We did that. I have a picture of us with this setup in the apartment
Really?
of you. Yeah. And the keyboard, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. We're not all in the picture. I think it's just you, but I'm pretty sure that's what we were doing.
Excuse me.
At the apartment picture.
Notes for later.
Notes for later.
Back to that.
But that was... Do we have a CD of that?
You know what? I have a Miss Cleo CD
Okay, Nikki
Yes.
has to get us the Miss Cleo CD.
where we would call random people. I remember very clearly.
How could you have that? That's got to be the
It's
most
gold.
interesting thing to listen to
It's
ever.
so great. I mean, she asked.
Can you hear us like laughing and stuff?
Yeah.
Or was it just like I don't remember how we recorded it.
I don't either, but I just
Speakerphone
it was
and mic
great.
up
a speakerphone and a mic, I would think.
Yeah.
It was that
Put it
that
up to the mic and up to the keyboard.
hands
and-
down is one of my favorite things to listen to. Still, like I uploaded it onto my iTunes diary or library or whatever.
Can you access it from your iPhone?
No. I know. I'm sorry.
iPhone.
Yeah. The Evo could do it.
I'll show you guys that recording soon. 'Cause
Okay.
It's funny.
It is amazing how with the internet you can send old friends any audio. I mean,
Yeah.
I was sending all kinds of stuff to Clayton. It's like, I can do this.
It took so much more work back in the day.
Yep. We played I'll Wait For You at the Harper Composers Forum.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's this really
Fake
cute
drums.
guy that that was in that class.
Joe, something with an S and a Z. And
Got it.
Brian, was that your
Something.
class?
Yeah.
Fellow music majors.
And then I remember being really angry with them because they were like, "Yeah, this song is good, but you can't replicate it on a stage." Well, no pop music can sound exactly like that. Like so ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what they said.
I
but
was
they weren't. They
little-
weren't like blown away or anything.
Yeah,
and I
I was
remember
very
being kind
angry.
of offended.
Yes.
And when I played Mr. Pianoman for the pretentious theory teacher, Dr. Bowker, and then because she had other students kind of play for her their music, and one of the heavy metal guys, she was like, "Now I'm into heavy metal. I love heavy metal," And she's, whatever. She's this classical person.
Yeah,
but, and I played it for her, and I said, so you're interested in buying it? It's $8. And you're like, no. And then it's like, I've heard 1, 4, 6, 5 chord progressions before. And really? You're gonna do that? You're gonna be that way?
Well,
I always felt, I thought a little less of her after that. Just humor, man.
It's like when I was in 7th grade. And I was out sick for a day, and I guess I phrased my question poorly to the teacher when I came back. Sorry, I was out yesterday. Did I miss anything? And she said, no, we all decided to sit around twiddling our thumbs because your toenails hurt. I went, whoa, I wasn't trying to be rude. What just happened here?
at my store, I had a customer who was looking for something, and one of the associates that worked there was like, "You look lost. Do you need help finding something?" "This is how I always look." It made me feel so bad that we asked her like that.
Yeah, you don't want to judge anybody in any way, ever.
Right. So anyway.
Yeah.
That's the whole, you look terrible. What's wrong?
You look tired. You learn as you grow older, I guess. What you can say and what you can't say. People just get offended at stuff. Oh, boy. You have to look at the intent of the question. Yeah.
Coming from a good place.
Yeah. So I remember we had a photo shoot. I don't know what it was for. But
Our album?
Wasn't that at Friendship Village or not?
Yes.
I keep thinking it was, but I don't know where it would have been there.
It was?
Yes.
We've
On
had
a
this
bench
conversation before. Yeah.
by
I'm
a
like,
lake.
but there aren't any. That's where our grandparents live now.
There's a lake.
I don't know if you were in on all that.
I know.
They moved here
There is a lake.
from Iowa
But
a couple years ago.
Really?
they live in Schaumburg now.
Wow.
That was Friendship Village, huh? I have the pictures.
I thought so.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you guys have
Wait a
those
second.
pictures? Or would
Was
that
there
be...
something called
You sent some of them.
International Village?
There's an apartment complex called International Village.
Was it there?
I just remembered
I
the
always thought it was
library
in
and
West
going
Dundee.
Oh, there was that like by a gazebo. We had that.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if those pictures are still around.
I have those
The
pictures.
ones with Nikki sprawled out on the bench and all that.
I have those pictures.
And us, yeah, and the.
If those would be interesting for you, I have them on the computer, no problem.
Fabulous.
But that one, I remember the library and turning into a place across the street from the Schaumburg Library,
That's
which is
really
Friendship
strange.
Village.
I
But
remember
I don't
Friendship
know where it
Village.
would have been.
Yeah, don't
Interesting.
see. So general stuff from Nikki. At some point, it seems like when you were just about out of your teenage years or something, or maybe 17, you had that really awesome attic, dual bedroom attic finished.
Yes.
I don't know. I kind of think of Nikki as, one of the official teenage girls that I know who had the really nice laptop and, a nice hangout pad and kind of modern IKEA furniture in her bedroom and iTunes and all that kind of thing.
She
So-
had the iTunes.
I did. Even back then.
That's what I remember.
I remember you had the first internet phone, and like we went to like a Green Day website or something. It's like, this isn't happening.
I always had the cool phones, like the Sidekick and stuff.
Sidekick.
Yes, I was very ahead of my time.
But when I think of the aughts, as Brian would call them, 2000 through 2010, that's kind of what comes to mind. Hip, sleek-looking laptops and phones. Maybe that's all still happening now, but a cool hip
All the
room with
tablets
cell
nowadays.
phones and all that.
Do you have an iPad?
I don't. I don't have money to spend on an iPad or the cool technologies. I
Is
do
an
have
iPad over $1,000?
probably. I do have
don't think so.
a
I
Mac.
thought it was like 500 or something, closer to like what a phone would be without a contract or something.
I have a Mac computer that's really nice.
Oh.
That's all
for
that I
you.
have. But I'm poor, because now I have a kid, and once you have kids, it's like you can't spend your money on anything anymore.
All right. So we had a record release party, double R party.
24 minutes later.
I know.
What just happened?
Can we just... This segment was like,
Let's just
what?
start the segment over.
Yeah.
No, we were going to get to that, but then we had to backtrack to how we hung out during the Pipe Down era. We didn't want to jump ahead. And that was how we hung out during the Pipe Down era. So we did the record release party, May 15th, 2004.
John's Garage?
Yeah.
Friday? Saturday?
I think it
Saturday.
was Saturday.
Saturday.
Come on, I
Yeah,
was in
John's
school.
Garage. John's Garage,
Wasn't a Tuesday.
that's a whole topic in itself. How did we find out about John's Garage?
The Battle of the Bands.
John was there?
Yeah, his daughters.
Or was his name something else?
Did he seek us out?
Oh, his daughters.
I don't really remember what.
His daughters were, I don't remember if they were like in a band or something, but he saw us and was like, hey, this is a good band. And then I think he had the intent of managing us, but, you know.
I thought it was a nice idea that he had that never really took off.
Yeah.
He took over part of Roselle Music and made a teen hangout center.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there are other teen hangout centers now that I put it that way. But he was going to have, there's like a Coke machine and bands. We were going to be his house band, right?
Yep.
He chose us as his house band.
Yep.
We're going to have regular gigs. Would have been great. But the business just didn't take off. Was that it?
I think it was because Roselle had some kind of restrictions against something like that.
Noise
So,
restrictions or something?
I don't know. I don't remember. But, yeah, that was the reason why it didn't go through.
Oh, well. But we did get to use the space for our party.
Yeah, I know. That was kind of cool.
Did we have...
That was huge.
Was that just our friends? And Nikki's friends?
Nikki's friends. Our parents and Nikki's friends.
And your grandparents. Didn't your grandparents come out?
Probably.
I don't think they came to that. I don't know.
No, I think they did.
I really don't
They were. I know they were at the Elk Grove Teen Center.
Yes, I remember your grandma dancing.
Or up and down dance. With her knees, getting her knees into it.
Yeah. Record release party. Yeah. There was a cake?
There's a cake?
There was a cake, right?
Something. I don't remember where it came from. I'm sure your father or something.
Somebody got us a cake?
Sounds like something our mother would have made custom.
I don't think she did. I remember it being big and
Do we have pictures
store-bought
of that?
looking.
We have footage from the show, right?
It's not in the footage.
We'll have to check it out. I remember the cake as if I was looking at a picture
still
of
a
it.
photo somewhere in your family.
Was it our album cover? What did it look like?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Double R party. Something.
Could have been that. Our album cover wouldn't have been that difficult.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Was
Few
it the
splotches.
album cover with the
Uh-huh.
little
That sounds
stickers?
familiar.
Did
Like
we
at some point we did that.
Did we play through the whole album there, or what was the plan?
No, we
We
played
had
like...
a specific set list. and
Yeah.
A lot of covers. And we
I
had
don't
2
think-
acts, 2 sets.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that weird little pole thing that you guys came out up onto the stage with?
Oh, yeah, like a circular staircase.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Sorry. Just
But we
from-
came out first, started playing, and then Nikki came running out and whirling and stuff, and the crowd went wild.
Fashionably late entrance.
Thanks, guys.
He's here.
Oh, man. Don't I feel terrible after this? Thanks.
Does Mr. Svela know any, like, has he seen footage? What does he know about Moss 85?
Does he know Pipe Down?
Has he seen the album?
Does he know how awesome we were?
I constantly tell him, but I don't think he believes me. I think it's one of those things where you're like, oh, I was in a band. And he's like,
The
yeah,
evidence
I'm
is all
sure."
around you.
And I don't think he's ever heard anything that I've done. But I did do like a few little recordings here and there. Like I did one April, right before my car accident here. That was just like, it was me and Pat Powers and all
Yeah.
that. And I had done that recording, and he heard that one and some other little like melodies that I had come up with and stuff, and he had heard all that. And so he kept telling me how he'd always listened to it and stuff, and so I know he knows that I was a singer, but I don't think he ever really heard all of Moss 85. Yeah. I don't know, it's something that we've never really talked about. As strange as that it is, because it was such a big part of my life, but I don't know.
Your MySpace looked very Moss 85-y, but it was all about... I assume that was him. I don't know. That didn't really make sense, but we're going to have to wrap up segment 4. Is this segment 4?
I don't remember.
Whatever. And we're pretty much That was John's Garage.
4. Okay.
So that's what I say. I'll be proven wrong, though, when you go to the
Right.
editing.
Oh, and then there was Dirty Faces. You could learn a lot from this band. That doesn't ring a bell?
John said that?
I think so. And we were like,
Rings a bell.
we're just as good as him. Anyway, that's the only other thing from Pipe Down. That's pretty much the end of Pipe Down. And we'll get back to the next after this.